This is CBC Late Night News.
Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Shannon Martin. A Toronto neighborhood is demanding stricter safety measures after a preschooler was hit by a car on the way to school. The 3-year-old is thankfully okay, but parents say change is needed before someone gets seriously hurt. Dale Manukduk with our top story.
It is very difficult every single day to come here and drop these children off and pick them up.
3-year-old Waylon Dennison suffered a minor concussion after being hit by a car around 3:30 on Monday, November 8th. His caretaker, Nora Martinez, was on the road behind him, instructing a number of children to proceed.
This car was turning from Benson towards the school area over here, and then the car just hit him.
The area has several road safety measures already in place, including an abundance of cautionary signage and speed bumps. But residents say it's not enough during peak hours.
There's like cars literally parked at the corner of the intersection where the kids then don't have any sight lines.
This parent of 3 has been distributing educational flyers since before the accident happened.
Because we knew that this was a very real possibility.
And there's a no parking sign over here. There's no parking sign right in front of the school, yet cars are still parking here.
A number of vehicles use the street to drop off and pick up children. Toronto police have provided strategies to the school to assist with the traffic issues. Meanwhile, Councillor Josh Matlow, who spearheaded the citywide speed reduction to 30 kilometers per hour in residential areas, is willing to explore all options.
Where you have a corner like this, often it can be bumped out so that it makes it harder for a car to just quickly spin around the corner.
But beyond ripping up the roads, which could take a long time, he says adding a crossing guard is a viable, immediate option and proven solution.
I don't want us to do something just because we think we should do it and then it doesn't actually help anything. I want to do evidence-based actions.
Matlow has arranged a meeting within the coming weeks with all stakeholders about possible improvements to the intersection. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
To Hamilton next, where police are searching for 2 suspects after a deadly shooting early this morning. The call came in around 2:30 a.m. Police found a 26-year-old man at a bar had been shot multiple times. He later died in hospital. Police say 2 suspects were seen racing away from the bar. They're asking witnesses or people with security footage to come forward. A memorial is growing tonight for a 5-year-old girl who died in a horrible car crash last night. Shortly after 9 o'clock, police arrived to an intersection in Etobicoke to find a car had crashed into a tree. A 31-year-old woman was driving. She was taken to hospital in life-threatening condition. Police are so far not confirming the relationship between the woman and child. Toronto's mayor and Toronto police showing support for North York Islamic Centre after an act of vandalism there.
We are saying that we join you, we are standing with you, we are speaking up against this kind of act, we are standing up against this kind of act, and I hope each in our own way we're taking action.
John Tory was at the Toronto and Region Islamic congregation earlier today. Last week, a man smashed a large rock through a window. That was caught on security footage. A 50-year-old man was arrested and charged with mischief. A representative from the centre says this is the second act of vandalism within the last 4 months. Many parents in Ontario may be wondering about something we heard an awful lot about during the federal election campaign, $10 a day daycare. But so far, no deal yet in Ontario. The federal government has reached agreements with 7 other provinces. Stephen Lecce, Ontario's Minister of Education, says the money on offer from the feds is not enough to bring the average cost of daycare down to $10 a day.
We believe Ontario families deserve a larger investment from the federal government, recognizing that we have almost 40% of the child care bearing age in the country here in Ontario.
Meantime, the federal minister leading the daycare talk says Ontario has not put on paper how it would spend the money.
Our offer for childcare is based on the number of children ages 0 to 12 in the province. It's the same that we have made to every province and territory across the country. And so each province is getting, their allocation based on that population.
Alberta and New Brunswick are also still without childcare deals. For an in-depth look at this story, you can head to our website. Our provincial affairs reporter Mike Crawley breaks it all down. Hockey legends laced up and took to the ice at Scotiabank Arena for the Hockey Hall of Fame celebration weekend. The festivities were put on hold last year because of COVID. Our Delia Ashry was there today for all the excitement.
No L's, only wins at Scotiabank this afternoon. And taking center ice, Team Canada, Team World, and Hockey Hall of Fame's pandemic class of 2020. They were supposed to be inducted last year, but the ceremony was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And this afternoon, another long-awaited celebratory step towards induction. Doug Wilson, Kevin Lowe, Jerome Aginla, Marian Hossa, Ken Holland, and Kim St. Pierre all received the official honored member blazer.
So wonderful to see the crowd cheering us on and getting the official blazer. It makes it so official as well.
To see things starting to get back to a little bit more normal, I think, is great for everybody.
A full arena here today. Many of the fans I spoke with said that they're excited to see many of the hockey legends after not being able to celebrate them last year because of the pandemic.
I feel like it's great to get out here and watch the hockey players. I'm excited to see Eric Lindros. I've seen him play and he helped me with my hockey skills.
I'm so happy that, it's 100% capacity, here with everyone.
It's fantastic to be back in an arena seeing a hockey game. It's what Canadians do, it's what we love.
Also glad to be back in the arena, Leafs veteran and former American player Al Iafrate. Known for his extremely hard slap shots. He's grateful to celebrate the inductees this weekend.
Get back to Canada and cross the border when it opened up because, the fabric of the sport's Canadian and it's in my heart and blood, and getting to come here and do all these events is just awesome.
All 6 hockey legend inductees will be celebrated and honored one last time tomorrow as the ceremonies wrap up. Delia Ashry, CBC News, Toronto.
Sophia Kambalia from the Weather Network is here, and you said yesterday it would be messy today, and boy, were you right.
For all those hockey fans, it'll be cold enough and slushy enough to start some of those backyard rinks pretty soon if this keeps up, Shannon. Yeah,
that is the bright side.
Yeah, that is the glass half full look, and that glass will be icy and cold. We are hovering around the freezing mark. So some of you that saw the rain and those lake effect showers today might even see a few flakes of snow flying into the overnight. Special weather statement out for some areas to the north and to the west that will not only see an additional 2 to 5 of system snow tonight continuing, but then the lake effect 5 to 10 centimeters tomorrow. Some could see upwards of 15 centimeters if some of these bands really stick and build into place. Along Highway 8 could be some dicey driving along the 401 throughout the day tomorrow. Second band will come into place along the 400 overnight Monday into Tuesday. Remember, accumulating snow on roadways could make driving difficult and dangerous. We're talking about winds being a part of this story as well. So blowing snow could be an issue, but for the most part, this has been really heavy, wet, slushy snow falling from the sky. Tomorrow, though, things change. Cooler air mass in place. The lakes are warmer, cooler northern air blowing across the Georgian and the Huron shores that will really set up that lake effect snow machine for any areas along the traditional snowbelt regions and especially higher elevation. You are just a couple degrees above the freezing mark. I will tell you when the warm-up comes midweek in the long range.
Okay, we'll be waiting for that. Talk to you soon.
See you soon.
To the UK, a big absence at Britain's Remembrance Day ceremony. The Queen was nowhere to be seen. Officials say a back sprain kept her from taking part. The CBC's Susanna De Silva has more.
After COVID limited last year's ceremonies,
Crowds returned to Remembrance Sunday this year to pay their respects, with one notable exception, the Queen. As official head of the armed forces, it was her first absence in 22 years. In a statement, Buckingham Palace said the Queen, having sprained her back, has decided this morning with great regret that she will not be able to attend. Her Majesty is disappointed that she will miss the service.
It's the most important thing she does all year long, so that was sad, and was sad for the veterans and sad for people that wanted to see her to know that she was okay.
This would have been her first public appearance in more than 3 weeks after spending a night in hospital with orders to rest for a few days at Windsor Castle.
I'm very glad to have the chance to.
She has been performing light duties, including Zoom calls.
As the impact of the environment on human progress was a subject close to the heart of my dear late husband, Prince Philip, the Duke of
And delivered
Edinburgh.
only a video message to the COP26 climate change conference.
I just want to say that I know that everybody will be wanting to offer their best wishes to Her Majesty the Queen.
The British Prime Minister today tried to calm the speculation about her overall health.
I just wanted to reassure everybody by saying that I did see the Queen for an audience last week on Wednesday in Windsor, and she's very well. So I just, it shouldn't need saying, but I just wanted to say it anyway.
This author and royal watcher says it could be time for the Queen to reduce some of her duties and allow other members of the royal family to step up.
I think we probably should get used to the fact that there may be some no-shows, even at last minute, that don't mean that she's on death's door.
Sources within the palace say the Queen plans to return to light duties next week. Susanna da Silva, CBC News, Vancouver.
Pressure is mounting on the province for more mental health and addiction services in Thunder Bay. A mom there has been campaigning for a new crisis centre after the death of her daughter in September. The leader of Ontario's opposition just this week paid her a visit.
We have to have more investments in mental health and addictions programs so that people can get the help when they need it, when they're ready. And we don't have a system like that in Ontario. And here in Thunder Bay, we've seen the results of that. I mean, it's literally tragedies, one after the other, that are happening in the community here.
So that's Carolyn Carl on the right. She met with NDP leader Andrea Horvath, along with the area's MPP, Judith Monteith-Farrell. They say things are reaching a crisis point. Just to give you a sense of the numbers, 99 people died of drug-related overdoses in Thunder Bay in 2020. There is just one withdrawal management facility. It's called the Balmoral Centre. About 3,000 people are being turned away every year. That's an average of 8 people denied access to service every day. Carolyn Carl joins me now from her home in Thunder Bay. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
And you started this movement, T-Bay Demands Detox, in honor of your daughter Dana and what she went through. Can you tell us a little bit about her?
Yeah, Dana was a really great young lady. She was an accomplished hairstylist. She had a great sense of humor. She touched many, many lives. Anyone that met Dana just loved her. She was just a great person. It was September 19th. She had been sober for 9 months. She was doing amazing. Her future was bright. She had lots of great plans and ideas and great things coming up for her. She had a relapse, which is very much a big part of recovery. She reached out to a person in our city that, obviously sells drugs. And she ended up, getting this horrible, tainted drug supply that was full of fentanyl, which killed her. It cost her her life. So I just felt that I needed to do something to honor Dana's memory and start getting help for those that don't have a mother and family and the support that Dana had. And I know Dana would be very proud of the army, the warriors, the moms, the families behind me trying to get help that our city so deserves.
Yes, and right now there is just that one detox center in Thunder Bay. The population there is 110,000, so people are being turned away. And you lived through this with Dana, and you told me earlier, when somebody says, I'm ready to get sober, that window is so small, so you can't wait to get in anywhere.
No. And you know, the thing about detox is I want to mention as well that our detox here services Thunder Bay, but it also services the outlying areas. That's a lot of people to help.
There's this proposed 40-bed mental health and addictions crisis center that was put to the province back in March by St. Joseph's Care Group. If that center got built, what would it mean then for the people of Thunder Bay?
Well, that would certainly help. I mean, it's probably not enough, but with the crisis and the pandemic and the way things have gotten, but I'll tell you, it's going to save a lot of lives. It's going to help a lot of people. It's going to give people a lot of hope. And when your loved one struggles with addiction, that's all you have is hope. I can't imagine the people being turned away every day, and we're hearing they're dying. They're not, you know, once you get into detox, you start the process. You get into the system. You go on to get into the treatment facilities. But if you don't get into detox, nobody even knows you're out there struggling and wanting to get help. I mean, people are actually setting up detoxes in their homes. I know of a lady that I just met. She's trying to help people detox in her home. Like, that is not right.
No, and it shows you the level of where things are at. When you talk about this army of moms, these people that are helping you, you're hearing stories from other parents and first responders. You organized a walk to raise awareness about the issue. If you could get your message out to the government or to people watching tonight, what would you want them to know?
Well, I just want them to know that I encourage you to reach out and talk to your members of parliament. The North, up in the Thunder Bay area, we are desperate for help. Please help us. I mean, answer emails, do something. Please reach out and let them know that we are desperate. After all, Canadians help Canadians, and we are getting very discouraged up here that none of the emails are being answered. Please just throw us a lifeline. That's all we're asking. Give us something.
Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us tonight, for sharing your story, for sharing Dana's story. We're going to keep in touch and see where this goes.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, we did try to reach the Associate Minister for Mental Health and Addictions this evening, as well as the Ministry of Health, but did not hear back. Recently, though, the ministry did say it's reviewing the proposal for operational funding for a Thunder Bay Crisis Center. During the pandemic, some musicians found creative ways to perform live music, from Zoom concerts to outdoor events. Others held off. Well, this 17-piece big band you're about to meet hasn't performed together since before COVID hit. Tonight, they reunited on stage, and our cameras were there.
Come fly, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar far, far away.
The energy that we get from performing with a live audience is like nothing else. I'm the singer with the Advocats Big Band, and we are performing tonight at the Duke Live for the first time since March of 2020. We've been playing for 15 or 16 years on the first Monday of every month. So when the pandemic struck, all of a sudden our monthly gigs were done. In fact, all our gigs were done. We couldn't rehearse, we couldn't see each other, and it was hard because we're almost like a family.
This is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10.
The rush, the excitement to have that back again, we've missed it. We've missed it terribly. This is what we do. This is what we love to do. So because of vaccinations and because of people doing what they need to do to protect themselves and their families and their communities, we're able to come back. So there's definitely a victory there.
Face it all together. Let the sky fall.
The holidays are just around the corner, and that means the return of all sorts of festive fun. Here's a look at the Canadian Tire Christmas Trail happening at Black Creek Pioneer Village. It's an outdoor drive-through experience, and it's officially kicking off this weekend. To tell us all about it is spokesperson Kathy Kirksbook. She joins us now from the entrance of the trail. Thanks so much for being here, Kathy.
Thanks for having me.
So it's opening weekend, so tell us all about it. It's a drive-through event. What can people expect as they drive along the trail?
Yes, so the Canadian Tire Christmas Trail, it's a 1.5 kilometer drive-along experience. Along the trail, guests will see thousands of twinkling lights, merry elves, live entertainment, festive treats, and some VIPs from the North Pole, of course.
Yes, I hear you can have a photo with Santa if you like. And, you know, this all started during the pandemic. It sold out last year. Are you expecting that kind of response this year?
We had an overwhelming response last year. We had about 22,000 guests come through the trail. So we're expecting to have about 30,000 this year.
You know, it is fun for the whole family, but it's also for a good cause, too. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So tickets are $25 per vehicle, and all proceeds go directly to Canadian Tire's Jumpstart charities, really benefiting child and youth sport throughout Canada.
Well, thanks so much for being here, Kathy, and telling us all about it. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
The Christmas Trail runs until December 23rd. And this is pretty cool. They raised $150,000 last year for charity, so you get to have some fun. Yeah.
For a drive-through event, that was incredible.
Yes,
Tis
totally.
the most wonderful time of the year, and it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas as well out there, Shannon. If you're into that, what a way to set the mood with a few centimeters of snow. And hey, if you were watching social media today, the hashtag #OnStorm really got a workout. There was some very Christmas-like driving conditions, if you can believe it or not, throughout the traditional snowbelt region. Still more to come. Some of that purple there is up to 15 centimeters in the traditional snowbelt regions. As this clipper system still churns above us, it's in behind, though, that we're going to have this wraparound cooler air. So not only was it messy and slushy and gray and kind of ice pellety today, but tomorrow it's going to be a lot cooler. Overnight feels like -3. And as we head into Monday morning, you could see some of that mixing, the flakes still flying, and still some of those dicey driving conditions throughout the traditional snowbelt regions along the 400 into Barrie. Cool for those of you in Hamilton, just sitting at the freezing mark for Monday morning as the kids head out to school. The daytime high is just a couple degrees below seasonal for Monday afternoon. And then as you head into the evening is when you could still see some of those lake effect bands pick up, especially along the 400. For any of you heading north up to Barrie, the 401 will be dicey as well. We stay in this cooler polar regime for the first couple days of the work week, but put your attention to Wednesday now. That's about 7 degrees above seasonal. Yes, we get treated to a bit of a warm up. However, after all of this lake effect, it is going to come with a ton of rain. It's the next system on our horizon. It will be in the warm sector after all of this lake effect, cool polar air, but it'll mean a few days of wet, soggy weather. At least any of that snow that many of you picked up today won't stick around for long with warmer temperatures like that. There's the glass half full again for those of you in the active weather long range.
And for those of you into that, that's what you were saying about the snow. It is going to start feeling more festive-y out there, but good driving tips for the morning. Thank you so much for that, Sophia.
We'll see you.
And that is our show for tonight. We hope you have a good one. Here's a little bit more from the Avocats.
By your baby.